What's up, everybody? This is Triple M, Music, Money, and Management. I'm PJ Roche, and we're doing something a little bit different right now. I'm not interviewing someone for this episode. I'm just going to be talking about what I've done and the story of my management and my record company and all that, because a lot of people I talk to were definitely requesting that type of thing. So, it all started almost 4 years ago. I was with Crepe and we were just sitting down, and he had recently just had a wild idea to become a rapper, and I had nothing to do, I was in school, just not, a lot of free time. So I said, I'll be your manager, because that seemed fun, and I always knew I wanted to get into business. And so on that day, it really started. For the next, 9 months to a year, or maybe just 6 months, nothing really happened, He would make a song. First he would make beats, and then he started getting into songs once he got a mic, and there wasn't a lot for me to do. Neither of us knew much about the music industry. So, he would just put stuff out on SoundCloud, and we would play it on loop to get the numbers up. Very naive stuff. And then, so almost a year later, as I said, after we started doing that, we had another epiphany, and this was for me to start my own record label. And I liked the music industry. I mean, I didn't know a ton about it. I didn't know almost anything about it even at that point, but just the idea of running a record label and being in the music industry seemed really cool to me. So, why not? And we came up with the name, $1 Records. Just random. There's not too much meaning in that name. Thinking back, I could have came up with a better name for that. So this was 3 years ago, and from there I kind of developed a collective. I was on Twitter, wasn't on any other thing, and I was, messaging artists, trying to find some. And I did. We started with a group of 3 artists. It was like the ODR collective, and for a few months they represented ODR. It was one artist from Atlanta named SRT Sosa. I have not been in contact with him for so long. And it was Crepe, obviously, and then another guy named King Longdi from South Africa. And we loved that guy so much. He was amazing. I still talk to him and help him sometimes, even now. But yeah, that was the original 3. And so they released songs together. I helped them with that as much as I knew how to. Still, I didn't know much about what I was doing. And then we progressed from there. We started getting a lot better at music. We went from really, really bad to just kind of a little bit good. And then we started picking up artists from there. I went from 3 artists up to all the way at the peak, which was 9 artists. Now, still, even with more than a year of doing this, I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have any experience. Was certainly not officially learning anything about the music business. And, I didn't do much for them. I just posted their stuff, got them distributed, was just there to help. And then right after that is when I started understanding a little bit more, because I'd gotten hooked up with a much better distributor, like an exclusive label distributor, and I cut down the amount of artists I was working with. It might have been 5 at that point, and I started making YouTube videos for him just to post, just audio videos, And that was when I started understanding more about promotion. I was like, okay, I'm really getting into this. And then I would post more on Instagram for the company. That's when I really started growing, understanding a lot. But still wasn't complete. So then I was working with all the artists. It was slowing down a little bit, right? And Crepe, he drops his final song as Lil Crepe, because he was Lil Crepe back then. He drops his final song, and he says to me, like, I remember him calling me and saying, I want to be Crepe. I'm going to change up my whole thing. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, no, we're doing pretty well. We have 10,000 followers on SoundCloud, and I mean, how can you change all that? He was like, no, I want to do it. And so he was right about that one. I didn't want to change, but I was probably the best decision that has ever been made. And so he completely changed his musical style, changed his, image, and changed his name. And then we dropped Crepe Summer 2, which was him as Crepe, no longer Lil Crepe, in a completely different style. And that was just, legendary. And there were also a few singles in between, but for the most part, Crepe Summer 2 was the defining album of that time period, and that did very well for us and really showed us what we were able to do. That was the album the project we had put the most money into, and we had the most famous people on it. Michael Christmas, Sui Generis, 916 Frosty. And that also, defined who Crepe was. And it gave me cred, too, because, I was understanding stuff at that point. I was understanding promotion. I got that we needed Snapchat ads, Instagram ads. We needed to get it posted on YouTube channels. We needed to know how to deal with music videos and get good music videos. So that taught me a lot and helped me advance a lot farther. And then after that, we took a break, which we regret doing, because even though Crepe Summer 2 was still, its numbers were not dying by any means. We could have done a lot in that break. But we came back, We came back. It wasn't a long break, just a few months. We came back strong. This is now at the start of 2020. We released songs, and then we got the best streaming numbers we have ever seen, because we were putting more money into it, because we have more money, and we were realizing that we got to get stuff in bulk. We can't just be doing small things now. We were getting big playlists for our stuff. Good, really good music videos. And putting out good content. Just good photography, good album art, all of that. We did that for a few songs, and actually, I had to talk with Crepe, because at that point, he was the only artist I was working with, right? The other ones had not been frequent in releasing. I liked them a lot, but was just working on Crepe, and this is only a few months ago. So I kind of stopped the record company, because I realized, record companies are cool, but do I really have the infrastructure and resources to officially have a record company that, holds its own? And that answer was no. So that's when I just became a manager, right? Roche Music and Management. That's me, my last name, PJ Roche. And then comes another period of me learning a ton and us doing very well. Because in the last few months, our first song to hit 100,000 on Spotify, and now we know how to get in contact with bigger people, and we know how to do real numbers, and we've done TikTok campaigns, and all of that. And so now we're kind of leveling up, right? We're trying to get into that place where we're making a bunch of money from this, and this really supports us instead of just being a side thing. Even though we were focusing on it, it can never really be the full thing if it's not making you your money. So that's where we're heading right now. And we're doing pretty well on that with the past couple of releases, because the promotion that we've learned about and the connections that we've made and the content we're putting out is really helping us get more fans and better numbers, which opens up opportunities for things like endorsement deals, record deals, all of that good stuff. And so it's just been really in the last, 2 months that I've been making this podcast and putting out content from my own Instagram, not just other people, and building a brand for myself, because that's important. And that's kind of the end of the story, but that brings me to something, that personal brand. I learned a ton about that from 3 people specifically, and I mention these names a lot if you listen to any video I put on Instagram, TikTok, or anytime I talk in this podcast. Casey Adams, Gary V, and Ty Lopez. One of the main things they taught, 2 main things, Instagram DMs and personal brand, alright? If you want to get connected with someone, emails, don't do emails, alright? I was talking about this on Instagram earlier. I don't know how many weeks ago it was, because I'm not sure when I'm releasing this episode, but I really learned about that. So I started putting myself on Instagram. Before, I was kind of anonymous because I'm young. I'm really young. I'm 16, and I thought I wouldn't be taken seriously, and I'm still, in some ways, I'm not, but I can't lie. So I gotta tell everybody I'm 16, and if I just prove to them what I'm doing is legit, then that is my only chance of being honest and being taken seriously. So anyway, start putting out content, and that does 2 things for getting responses to Instagram DMs, because people will check them. Important people check them, and they can see your DMs, and they're more likely to see them and respond to them if you have these 2 things, which posting on Instagram does for you. It gives you more followers, right? More likely to see a DM from someone with 10,000 followers than 20. That's obvious. And when they go on your profile, they don't want to see nothing. They want to see you, and they want to see that you're a real person and that you're legit, So if I'm constantly putting stuff out, showing that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm doing what I say I do, then they see, oh yeah, I'm going to respond to this guy. We can actually have a good business relationship. Alright, so I got a little sidetracked there, but I did definitely want to see that, because if you want any advice for any business, just send DMs and post things on Instagram. Just be real on Instagram. You don't need to post highly edited photos. Although those do look cool. I'm not saying they don't. But just post videos of yourself talking and post pictures of you doing regular things, because a lot of the time that is what people want to see. I mean, maybe if you're a model, you'll understand. You'll understand the line between them. But being like that on Instagram and other platforms has definitely helped me get in contact with a bunch of people who I interview on my podcast and have meaningful connections with. Thank you very much for listening. Happy I could say that. And I think I might give more stories about specific things that have happened later, because I have a good amount of interesting stories about interesting people and encounters I've had in the music business. So thank you for listening. Have a great day. Remember, I'm PJ Roche. This is Triple M, Music, Money, and Management. Come back later for the next one.